Hey guys, sorry to interrupt the scheduled program for a quick little announcement. So, this little mukbang advice video was an hour long. And so, because of that, I'll bring it up into a series of individual 15-minute videos. I think it might only come to like 4 of those or so, kind of just gauging based off the footage itself. The footage itself broke it up for me, so all I gotta do is go in and kind of clip it together and clip it around and know what happens. So you're gonna see every time the video is done for the day or when it hits that little mark, you will see this clip. You will see my beautiful face, and you will see me saying, of course, what I'm saying now, which is, if you want to see the rest, please tune in for the next video. So, sorry for any inconvenience, and I hope you guys enjoy all of it. With that being said, I love you guys, and I will see you later. Bye. What's up, you guys? It's Taylor here with a new video. So, the new face you see today is my mother. We are doing a video collab for our channels. My channel, which is one we're on now, and then her channel, a couple of goobers. So when all is said and done, go check out the description box below. She's laughing at me because she's like, my daughter's weird. And I am weird, but it's okay. But so today's video for mine is a mukbang advice video. So I'm trying to do more of these with my mom in this period. The advice she's giving today for this first part of this particular set, because she's going to do another video on me doing a part 2, is marriage. I told you this, so I told her this, and now you see on camera that I said it, so now she knows. But so the 2 parts is marriage and parenting. So my mom, my mom, of course, is my parent. So for a short period of my life, it was all I can remember was mostly my mom, my granny, and my aunts. And so aunts. I said aunts, then I meant aunt, my aunt, being the main influences in my life, and talking about the parenting part, going from that to being in a 2-parent household. And then in this video is her talking about marriage and what marriage means to her, and kind of asking certain questions that was given to me by certain followers. So we're going to go ahead and get into it and start eating, because I'm hungry, she's hungry, I'm it, and we're ready to talk. So the first question I was going to meet is, the question is it a good idea to date someone with kids?
Oh, I'm supposed to answer now. Okay. Okay. So before I begin to answer these questions, I just want to say thanks for having me. But I want to do sort of a disclaimer. I am not a marriage counselor. I am not a therapist. I am not a psychologist. I've been around for a while. I've been alive for a while. Seen some things. So I know some things. I do co-pastor a church here locally, so I have that knowledge. So when I answer these questions, my answers are based on my life experiences and the experiences of those around me, and what I have gleaned biblically and spiritually. So that's what my answers are based on. I just want to do that disclaimer, so if you watch this and you're going to say, well, that lady said, you know.
Can you do it? Oh,
I didn't say I was a professional.
Before we do ask the questions, more details about the videos that for today's mukbang we're doing talk about. And 2, the questions are being asked, as Mom said, from a standpoint of the scenario of if you got advice from a woman who's been a Christian her whole, I'm guessing her whole life, been a Christian her whole life, go to a Christian household with a minister for a mother, is it a minister herself, been married for the past 20 years of her life, what would you ask her and how would you take that advice? So that's how all these questions are being presented and where they come from. So that's why the first question is about, would you date, is it a good idea to date and then marry somebody who already has children going into the marriage?
Okay, and I haven't been married for 20 years. See, this is, I don't know what's wrong with young people. Their perception of time is totally off.
Yeah,
but, so, is it a good idea to date someone with kids? First of all, I don't think when you begin dating someone, you do not begin dating them with the thought in mind, I want to date someone with kids, right? Who says, is it a good idea to date someone with kids? But if you just so happen to discover that someone that you're dating has children, the question is not, is it a good idea? Are you prepared to date someone with children? Because it's up to you. You have to decide for yourself, is that something that you're ready to step into? Because I think I won't say a lot of people, but some people with children may wait until they know that person, the other person, before they bring them into their children's life. They have to see if they're a trustworthy person, if they are forthright, they're honest about who they are, and if they're a stand-up kind of person before they bring them into their children's life. So that's what you have to ask yourself, especially if the possibility becomes, you have to step back and say, if I happen to meet someone that has children, am I going to be able to date them? Because you have to take on a certain role. It may come a time when you're dating this person, after you find they have children, they introduce you to the children, and then they begin to sort of become integrated in the child's life, our children's life. There may come a time when they may need for you to pick the child up from school. There may come a time when they're like, I have to go to work, I can't find a babysitter, can you watch them for me? Or watch, my child for me. The child may become sick and you may have to, be a caregiver. Not like, deathly sick or it's a lifelong illness type, but just like they can get a cold, and they can't go wherever, you have to watch them. So the question is, are you going to be prepared for that? Are you prepared to date someone with children? More so than, is it a good idea? Is it a good idea? I don't know. Is it? And I don't mean it to be facetious. I mean it to say you have to decide that for yourself. Is there something wrong with it? No. Because there is not anything wrong with that. That gives you the opportunity, first of all, it gives you the opportunity to have access to a family so that you know how a family dynamic works. If this is a serious relationship, this also gives you the opportunity to go ahead and build a relationship with the children. You have to be prepared for not only dealing with your partner and the children, but then you have to deal with the partner, the children, and that other parent, whether it's a man or a woman. You have to be prepared to deal with that, because every parent is not going to be accepting of you. Every parent is not going to speak of you kindly to the children, because depending on how that other parent speaks to the children is going to reflect upon how that child treats you. So it's a fine line. And the question really is, are you going to be prepared? Are you yourself going to be prepared to deal with someone who has children? Does that make sense? Does any of that make sense?
It makes sense to me.
It makes sense to you. Okay. Hopefully it makes sense to you too. I can't, because what my point is this. The question is not a yes or no answer. Okay. It is going to be based on how you are as a person. Right? What are you prepared to deal with? And then you going into it honestly knowing that there's going to be a great number of factors. You're going to have to deal with how you were raised, because sometimes you're going through a relationship and you're like, well, when I was growing up, this is how my mom did X, Y, and Z. Well, you know what? This is not your house and these aren't your children. So you have to go in learning how they're dealing with their child, and then if you see something that maybe could be corrected, then you have to learn how to present some information that may be better to that parent that you're dating, because you don't want to come in telling them you're not raising your kid good, right? So it really just depends on how you what you're prepared for, and then again being honest with yourself, knowing that it's not just you, the person you're dating, and the child or children. It's you, the person you're dating, the child or children, and then that other parent. So
yeah, this is, of course, the video point is from my mom talking. Let me get my 2 cents. That's kind of how life works for this. Part of why the discussion was asked is because someone in my one of the people who do subscribers, they're in their 20s and they're deciding for themselves whether or not they want to get into the dating field, but they're also bothered because a lot of people my age range and their age, of course, like that, have kids their age. They're like, what does that entail for them? And part of it's just the fact of, this is my generation, a lot of us did start having kids early. Now, I might have kids now. Well, that's why we're doing the parenting video, to kind of advise that when it's time, because I'm not good with kids right now. But it's just about that and about what makes you comfortable. Like, a lot of people, personally with me, I would not be with somebody who has kids, most specifically. That's a lot of responsibility. And the reason I understood what my mom was saying was it's part of what I've observed over the years. It's part of what I've seen in my personal life, my family life. I've seen those type of situations. I've seen that, yeah, you gotta be okay with being a parent to a kid that's not necessarily yours. You gotta be able to cope with that, because if you do marry this person, then you're gonna be that person, that kid's step parent, and you gotta learn how to make them understand you're the step parent, but you're still a parent, and they still gotta listen to you, kind of follow your rules, and you gotta figure out how to deal with that and cope with that. So the second question that was asked was about trust, and it said, and this one was more of a personal level. It asked, what helped you as a woman of faith and who you are develop faith in your relationship?
So, that goes back to learning about the person, learning about who they are, and figuring out just if they're trustworthy. And what I mean by that is, do you discover, or have you discovered, are you discovering that this person lies about, and I wasn't wiping my nose, I think I had some on my finger that went right there, but anyway, discovering that they lie at the drop of a dime, right? It's hard to have faith in someone who lies, who tells constant untruths, right? Then you have to learn how to build that trust again, because you don't know if they're telling you something and it's a truth or if it's an untruth. No one is perfect, so you have to go into it understanding that no one is perfect. Things happen. In any relationship, things happen. But do you love this person enough that even when things happen, you can forgive them, right? You can forgive whatever happened, and you can forgive the person. You have to have unconditional love, and that means that there's no conditions on it. So if I love you conditionally, that means that I'm only going to love you if you're doing what I want you to do. If what you're doing is pleasing to me, then, if you're buying me what I want, if you're telling me what I want, then I love you. Unconditionally means that sometimes you're not going to give me what I need, and that's okay. Sometimes we're going to get into disagreements, and they could be really heated, but that's okay because I still love you. You have to remember why you fell in love with the person, why you fell in love with them, to hold on to that unconditional love. But in that goes back to that entails the trust, that you build trust with each other, that I can trust you. It's like in the Bible, it's a scripture that says, you've been faithful over a few things, I will make you rule over many. And I feel I'm misquoting it, and my apologies about that, but I know that I'm misquoting it, but that's the gist of it. And what I'm trying to say is that when you're faithful over the little things, you make a date with somebody, and sometimes this happens, you make a date with that person that's your significant other, and they're unable to come. Okay, that's fine. So you reschedule, then they're still unable to come. Then they reschedule. See, what happens is that after a while, you start to lose trust in them, right? So you start to lose trust / faith. So the thing is that you have to build that. You have to be dependable, right? You have to be dependable, and the other person has to be dependable. That's how you build trust. I feel like I'm not really explaining it really good, but that's the gist of it, right? Is that you have to be trustworthy and you have to be dependable. What helped me develop it, and I said all that to give you a platform, but that's what helped develop faith in my relationship. It hasn't been all peaches and cream, it's been rocky, but again, when you go through those things, you forgive, and you forgive, you grow, and you move away from them, and you don't keep bringing whatever happened back up, because if you do, that means that you didn't really forgive whatever the situation was. Whatever it was, you really didn't forgive it. So I think I answered it. I hope I did. If I didn't, leave a comment below. I'll try to do a better job. Sorry.
Oh, y'all see, I get my cooking this from Tuesday time. The thing that because of course part of this is from my mom's experience of being from an older generation. She's kind of older, kind of.
I'm not that old though.
I said older, not old. See, you give your own age away. I didn't tell age, yeah. Like what my space is up based on me being from a younger generation. And part of the thing with the younger generation is, there's a quote I like, and it says, the problem with this generation is that when things break, we replace it rather than fix it. And my thing with trust is about yes, sometimes people break your trust. I have a best friend, my best friend in the world. We've had 2 major falling outs that kind of had a lot to do with trust. And we built that. And at the end of the day, when it comes to trust, yeah, you gotta build it. Sometimes it gets broken, but that does not mean you end something that you feel is important to you over it. I'm with my person right now, who y'all met technically, y'all haven't really met in a minute. William, excuse me. And sometimes we have problems when it comes to trust. And are we gonna break up with that? No, because at the end of the day, first off, in a year, and I don't waste time. I do not like wasting time when it comes to dating. And B, it's a matter of small trust issues should not break an entire year or entire lifetime of what could of you and that relationship for no reason. That's not 2 cents. These questions are weird. So the third question that was given to me, because the rest of these are ones I came up with on my own date.
Oh no.
It ain't you. They lids suck. Like Taco Bell's lids suck. Because every time I get a drink from there, it spills on me because of the lid. But regardless. The second question that was given to me was, how do you advise people to handle rough patches?
Okay. So